alert, red alert, red alert, calling all ambitious auto sales and marketing professionals. Your undivided attention is required to read and act on this latest newsletter about vehicles vendors rushing to meet sales tax exemption dateline. Believe me, the contents of the bulletin will blast the socks off your feet? You ask, why? It's simply you must hasten to help your auto dealers to enjoy the tax exemption granted by the government on your customers' new vehicles. Don't believe? Just carry on reading and you will agree with me. That's my promise. Meanwhile, let's do a pit stop here and read this newsletter's preview. Alright, thanks. And to excite you to read more, here is an interesting foretaste of our latest auto newsletter. In a neat nutshell, be fully aware of the fact that car sales professionals are really worried that selling time is running out. They are distressed because very soon the vehicle sales tax exemption expires without time extension. Believable? You bet. Since they are given short time limits, sales personnel has no choice but to take registration files back home to work late into the night to meet the dateline. Furthermore, physical cars deliveries from factories could execute orders only between 2 and 6 months. Plus, outlets had seen a sudden increase of about 30% to 50% in their number of bookings daily. Fortunately, the authorities agreed that all bookings are secured before the June 30th and even with late delivery are also acceptable until March 31st next year. With this grace periods, owners are also allowed to register their vehicles with the Road Transport Department at the extended dates. As a result, vehicles buyers can still enjoy the tax incentive. True? No joking? Without wasting any time, let's drive forward to the newsletter proper. Okay, breaking news. Car dealers scramble as sales tax D-Day approaches. Pedaling Jaya, with just 48 hours to go before the end of the vehicle sales tax exemption, car dealers are working overtime to cope with up to a 50% increase in bookings. Some salesmen said they were up to their neck with orders and were having to take files back home to work late into the night. Honda sales advisor Nicholas Fung of Tenaga Sentia Resources here said the outlet was rushing to register about 900 cars booked by its customers. Some of my colleagues bring hack files and continue to work at home. We are rushing to make sure everything is in order. Customers are entitled to the tax exemption, but we are doing it carefully to make sure that every detail is in place, he said, adding that the outlet's waiting time for car deliveries was between 2 and 6 months depending on the model. Fung said since the government's announcement on the extension of the registration period for the vehicle sale tax exemption to March next year, the outlet had seen an increase of about 30% in the number of bookings daily. Now we have up to 40 bookings daily, he said, adding that he expected the number of bookings to accelerate after the exemption ends on Thursday. A Mazda TTDI sales advisor who wished to be known only as Anison said the branch was receiving 50% more customers. He said about 15 bookings were made daily during the week. Proton MC Motors Setopak sales advisor Abdulaziz Abd Karan Satdi the outlet recorded a 50% increase in bookings since the government's announcement on the extended registration deadline. We now get about 30 units being booked daily. We are working hard to ensure our customers pay the booking fee before the June 30th deadline for them to be entitled to the sales tax exemption, he said. Under the ongoing exemption, a full waiver of the tax is granted to locally assembled vehicles with a 50% waiver on imported ones. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdulaziz announced recently that the sales tax exemption for new vehicle orders would not be extended to beyond June 30th. However, he said buyer placed their bookings by June would be allowed until March 31st next year to register their vehicles with the Road Transport Department. He added that this was to ensure the public benefited from the tax incentive despite the drop in vehicle production amid the microchip shortage and supply chain disruption. To conclude, be reminded of the seriousness of vehicle sellers' struggle to meet sales tax exemption dateline. With the deadlines being tight, sales reps have to take registration papers home to work late to meet the target dates. Unfortunately, the physical auto deliveries could only executed between 2 and 6 months. This has been made the problem worst as resellers is faced with a sudden sales increase to roughly 30% to 50% in the number of daily bookings. On the brighter side, the authorities accept all bookings made before June 30th and even with late deliveries until March 31st next year. With these grace periods, owners can also register their vehicles at the extended dates with the Road Traffic Department. This means that vehicle buyers can continue to enjoy the tax exemptions bonus. Really. On the positive side of this newsletter, we, as sales professionals, must render our help in the form of time, money, and effort to meet the dateline for our benefit, our dealers, and our buyers. Agree or not? As a footprint to this bulletin, allow me to quote some words of encouragement by Irma Bombach. She was an American humorist who achieved great popularity for her newspaper humor column. She says, "Car designers are just going to have to come up with an automobile that outlasts the payments." End of newsletter. Source: extracted and modified from open printed sources. P.S. Come to think of it, we know if it is a lengthy auto sales and marketing newsletter, yet we want to congratulate you for watching and reading this bulletin completely. Needless to say, since you have fully read this news, therefore, you now deserve more forthcoming weekly free bonus of chapters of the book How to Handle All Kind of Sales Objection. Additionally, we are eager to know which part of this auto sales and marketing newsletter you learned most. Your feedbacks are critical so that we can help each other grow effectively. Lest you forget, these sharing will continue in YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course in our author, trainer, and consultant's email, josephsfn@gmail.com, upon request. Alright. Thank you. We hope to meet you next week. Goodbye and best wishes. From me, yours truly, Madam Sophia, the virtual presenter to CTM Joseph. July 2, 2022.